Well, how about for I think most of the third period, it was a nail-biter.
But it's better than losing the first game, which happened a lot last season.
So great. Well, Neil Greenberg had tweeted a stat earlier, and I understand that the Caps lost game ones last year. They were down 2, we all know, in the first round and come back from it. But it is kind of a significant difference that the home team in this situation, when they win game 1, wins the series overall 74% of the time.
And part of that is because you're the higher-seeded team. You should be better.
Correct. But if you lose the first game, it then drops to 46, which is a little less than a coin flip, right? So that's a dramatic drop-off one game. And that doesn't mean you're not going to win the series if you lose game 1, because obviously the Caps have done it repeatedly. But you can't keep doing it because eventually it's going to catch up to you.
Well, you have to win 4 out of 6. If you drop the first one, you have to go 4-2.
Like Tampa. You got to win 4 out of 6.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I had when I retweeted that, so many Caps said, doesn't mean anything. We lost the first 2 last year. We lost this one. Yeah. All I'm saying is, if you keep doing it, you're eventually going to get caught.
Home teams so far in the first round, out of the 8 series that have been played, are 5-3.
Right.
Oh, I mean, that's not a great number.
I know that's not how Todd Reardon wants to live life throughout the playoffs. He doesn't want to drop the first game or split at home.
Yeah, but he also, of course not. But he also knows how difficult playoff.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it's great they got it, and it was looking so good for a while there, just with the 3-goal lead. I don't know that necessarily the 3-goal lead was indicative of the play, but it was certainly nice to have that 3-goal cushion, and they needed it.
Look, they cashed in on their opportunities. They 2 for 3 on the power play. Maybe they got a later power play. I think they had 3. Cashed. Carly had 3 assists. Hopefully played pretty well, even though he said that he should have saved both of the goals that Svechnikov put past him. If he could have had him back, he thinks he could have saved at least one, if not both of them.
Well, let me ask you this. When Ovi snuck it in there in the 5-hole, do you think he was aiming for that, or was he just trying to just hit it low? And
I think he's just trying to power it in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if he aimed it. By the way, the Caps also had two breakaways that were turned away by Mrazek, Hagelin and Dowd. So the score could have been even more lopsided.
When was Hagelin's?
Hagelin's, I'm pretty sure it was in the third period.
That was late,
I think they were both in the third period, if my memory serves correct. But
here's my sense of Caps fans, though, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and we were wondering whether there was this buzz. And, of course, the arena was fantastic. Okay?
Amazing.
The atmosphere was great at the game.
But that's the Caps faithful that's always amazing.
I think somebody tweeted us this, and I agree. I think that the fan base is just less anxious. Now, there might be some anxiety if they play the Penguins in the next round, or maybe even the Islanders, but this almost adds to it where they're expected to win in this round. They beat this team 4-0 in the regular season, played them 4 times. Okay, a couple of them were close, but they won every time. Now they've played them 5 times, won every time. It's almost like they just expect to be in the second round.
They're taking the first round for granted?
A little bit.
I mean,
enjoying it.
I think there's some truth to that.
But people aren't freaking out about it. I think people aren't expecting a choke.
There's less angst because the Caps won the Stanley Cup last year. Yeah. Had they flamed out spectacularly last year again, it would have been more pins and needles, especially when they got to 3-2 last night.
That pressure to get to Eastern Conference Finals isn't there anymore.
Right. I mean, you'd love to get there again, but it's. Yeah. I mean, if there's an early exit, it's going to suck. But look, you still have the memories fresh in your brain.
But I think it'll come back
year.
if Pittsburgh can come, get by the Islanders. If the Caps can get by the Hurricanes, it'll ramp up.
Yes,
I would think.
And look, it built up last year, especially once you got beyond the second round and made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's when the viewing party started happening and people started jumping aboard.
Into the rhythm of games now, and
And the rhythm's every other night.
Right. So we play
got a game Saturday,
tomorrow night.
And then Monday you join me and EB over at Church Hall in Georgetown. That's game 3. Hopefully they'll be up 2-0 at that point.
Oh, then we'll be free rolling. That'd be amazing.
Yep.
And great
free rolling, but then what happens, I just know the rhythm of this show is, so let's say they win on Saturday, they're up 2-0. And let's say they lose on Monday. No big deal. You're still up 2-1. We're going to come in and say,
I'll be good.
We're going to say, they got to win this thing. Don't want to come back home 2-2 because then anything can happen.
Not going to panic if it stays with the home ice advantage. I'm good. When I start to panic is when you start with home ice advantage and then you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I start to panic as a fan. As long as we stay according to the home ice and we're on the right side of that, I'm always good.
They're just a better team. Jeremy Roenick came on the show and said that Carolina was outgunned compared to the Caps.
Yep.
So the Caps have the better star. So Aho, yeah, fine player.
Yeah.
He scored like 30 goals this season. They're hyping up Aho. He scored 30 goals. Our star scored 51.
Aho was neutralized last night. I think he had
Two shots.
two opportunities on net, and he just got punked by Orpik in the corner late.
Jeremy Roenick came on and said the Caps star is better. He said the Caps depth is better. The Caps goalie's better. They should win. Right. They won every time in the regular season. That's why there's maybe not that angst. The angst will come quickly if they fall behind.
Plus, the Carolina owner's a bit of a dum-dum, giving all that money to the Alliance of American Football. Right. So, I mean, ownership, the advantage falls with the Caps as well.
You know what I read about that is?
I would think.